Well, what do we have here? Is Patty Jenkins back on Rogue Squadron? Maybe. So apparently this news flew under my Star Wars radar. I did not know that she was back on to this project, and I figured I'd make a video about it. Now, if you're not aware, they first announced this, that they was working together in 2020, I believe, that Patty was going to do a movie called Rogue Squadron with Lucasfilm. And I think it was 2021 or 2022 they canceled the project and then she was going to move on to Wonder Woman 3. And that eventually was canceled as well. But I guess from this article says she's back on the table of making this movie. Now, I'm going to give my opinion about what I feel about this news, and also read a little bit of the article that was very interesting, to say the least, in my humble opinion. So let's get into it. Now, what I'll do is I will give my comments after the article and what I think about it. So this is what she says. She says, when I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3 and I started working on that, we talked about it. Well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. She told Talking Pictures podcast. So we started a deal for that to happen. So when Wonder Woman 3 went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was beginning. So now I owe a draft to Star Wars. So we will see what happens there. So basically, it sounds like she owes them a Star Wars script, and I guess it's up to them if they want to accept it or even use it or shelf it. That's what I'm thinking by this article. So we'll see what happens from there. Who knows? They have a hard job in front of them. Yeah. What's the first movie since the sequel trilogy? They're going to do. There have other directors who have been working, but now I am back on doing Rogue Squadron. We'll see what happens. We will need to get to where we both super happy with it. I like that. She says, we need to get to where we're both super happy with it. That means her and the studios. As you may know, Disney is notorious. No. Lucasfilm is notorious of hiring people and firing them as well, directors, because they don't like what they're doing. For example, Solo. Solo was shot, 85% of the time, 95%, and they fired the directors and redone the whole thing. I'm always curious how the original was. I don't know if it was better or worse, but I think it's probably better than what it was beforehand. But anywho, what's interesting, she says, we're both super happy. So that tells me if they're getting so metal into her vision of the story, she'll walk. She'll just like, hey, you have a script, I'm walking, find somebody else. I guarantee she'll do that, and I wouldn't blame her one bit. And I'm hoping that Disney will give her the breathing room to make this movie. I think they should. If they are true to what they say, the Force is female, then show it. Put your money where your mouth is. Let this woman make a great Star Wars movie. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, this is the part that I really like. It's a small little quote, but this gives me hope of Star Wars movie being great from her. The emotion of Star Wars and what it stands for is something so beautiful in this world. She added, Star Wars was born out of WW2, so in that way I always wanted to make a fighter pilot movie, so yes, I would love to do it. So it just by reading that article for what it was, it sounds like she owes them a script, right? And I hope, and it's basically she's gonna write it, give it to Lucasfilm, and it's up to them if they want to scrap it, put it on a shelf, or say, we're good. And it sounds like behind the scenes, there's a lot of pressure on Lucasfilm to make a nice movie after the sequel trilogy. I think it's pretty obvious. I love that article because she is. I like Patty. I've never followed her work to a T, but I like how she does interviews and how she talks. She seemed like just a regular person, just like me and you, and she would just tell you the truth. She wouldn't sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? She would shoot from the hip and just tell you. That's why. Just what I can tell. I might be way off base, but I get that feeling from her. But as a Star Wars fan, I would say go ahead, Patty. And I think she would make, because she said that in that article, let me read it again so I don't butcher it for you here. The emotion of Star Wars and what it stands for is something beautiful in this world. So what that means to me is she have a story of Star Wars, right? What she thinks of the fighter pilot because of her granddad in that that's what was his job, and she make it into Star Wars universe. I think she would do it in a way that she would first take care of the story. She wouldn't rush it. She would take care of it, fine-tune it, and make the story work. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you an example. Wonder Woman, the first one, it was so good. It felt like a Marvel movie before what it is now. When Marvel was in its heyday, the top dog making $1 billion movies, banger every single month. Wonder Woman felt like a Marvel movie. No joke. Even though it was under the DC logo, it felt like a Marvel. And that was a lot to do with her and her vision and how to tell a story and how everything is set up. And I 100% believe that she could pull off a great Star Wars story. And another thing, too, is this is what Lucasfilm needs. They really need fresh blood. They need somebody with an original idea or something, a different perspective of Star Wars. And I don't know if anybody else will feel this way, but I'm just going to go hard in the paint. I'm done with the original characters. I love Luke, Han, Leia, Darth Vader, Yoda, all these. Mando, not Baby Yoda. I'm done with these characters. Make something original. Make something different. It don't have to connect to this, and this. Just make a freaking story. That's all we want. And I'll say this to this point. I love Rogue One. That's the only a Disney Star Wars movie that I've ever liked. Now, I know a lot of people out there would say, well, you don't like because the Darth Vader scene of that. Whatever. I like that scene, yes, but I was loving that movie before then. And I'll explain why. I liked it because it was a different perspective of Star Wars. It was boots on the ground perspective. It was war. It was gritty. It was that particular different viewpoints of the world, of the universe. And I love that. And Rogue Squadron could capture that. 100%. Now, on the other side, Disney said, well, you think you'll make $1 billion? I think it could. If the story's right, and it's been a little bit of a delay of Star Wars. There's not been a Star Wars movie since 2019. So that's a little bit of a delay, a little bit of distance away from the single trilogy. It could. And of course, they would have to have some type of actor or actress to bring audience in. Even though it is Star Wars, a name alone could bring a lot of people in. They'd be curious, just like myself, right? So it could bring $1 billion, maybe. What do you think? Do you think it'll bring $1 billion through Patty Jenkins? I think it's possible. I know it's a big number, $1 billion. If not, it'd be close. But I'm very, very, very. I'm not gonna have high hopes. I'm not, but I'm hopeful. I'm curious. I'm excited. I hope that Disney don't get cold feet and they'll just, say, nah, that's okay. We'll find something else. But that's very interesting, though, that she said it's going to be a hard job for Lucasfilm to find what's the next movie. Because they know, I guarantee they know how the fandom feels about Rey. We don't want Rey. We don't need this. We want something else. That's what I think. But I might be wrong. But anywho, like I said, I didn't mean to go on that rant. But I just felt like I should talk about this stuff because it is something I do care about. I love Star Wars. I love the universe. That's the thing about movies. I want a different perspective. Nothing against the OG of Star Wars, even the prequels, for what they are. We need something different. I know Disney does not want to take risk, or Lucasfilm. But if they believe that, what Kathleen Kennedy has said, the Force is female, prove it. Show me. Let Patty make something. And I guarantee it would be better than the sequel trilogy. Hands down. Anywho, I think I'm done for today. I guess I'll talk to y'all later.